You are listening to Flora Rockstars, rocking the real estate news and all things local. Good morning, Lonnie.
Good morning.
How's everybody else?
Crazy.
I am running late. Can you tell?
We all are. Okay.
That is my middle name, I think.
I always said I'd be late for my own funeral.
I know. I haven't even passed out our things yet, what we're going to talk about, and we have to have these
There's no
because
big words in the quote today.
there is big words. Big words, so improvise.
Yeah.
All right, as always, we got a big show today. We're just going to hang out with ourselves and Lonnie and see. We're going to talk a little bit about sellers today. We don't have any kind of special guests, just us, and we're very special. So we have a quote of the week. We're going to hear about everybody's weekend and what everybody was up to. We're always going to hear about numbers aren't sexy, but they do tell a story. And then we're going to talk about the seller's journey. So if you are thinking about being a seller, wondering what a seller is all about, or if you're a buyer wondering how the selling process works, this is your day. So we are going to talk about that. So Nathan, you want to kick it off?
Good morning. Good morning. So the quote of the week. Buyers decide in the first 8 seconds of seeing a home if they're interested in buying it. Get out of your car, walk in their shoes, and see what they see within the first 8 seconds. Barbara.
Corcoran.
Thank you.
Do you know who Barbara Corcoran is?
I do not.
She's a Shark Tank lady. She's
Yes.
a real estate mogul.
Oh.
She got her monies. She came from a very poor family, and she made her own wealth. And she is a New York guru in real estate. And she started out. She's got a great story if you are interested in real estate stories, and how she became who she is, and that's how her real estate backing got her on Shark Tank. So,
Wow.
and you know what Shark Tank is? Those are millionaires looking to invest. So she did,
Billionaires.
or whatever, the big people who have lots of money.
She also does marketing for products and things like that.
Right, she does. Yes. So she does a lot, but it all started from real estate. So
Is she the one with the short hair?
the tall, blonde, short hair,
Yeah.
probably my age, a little older maybe.
Okay.
So, yes, she. It's interesting to see her story. I think I've seen it on YouTube.
I'm a big Mark Cuban fan.
Yeah. That's just because his last name.
I do like Cubans. Sandwiches.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
cigars. I mean, no, not cigars. Those are illegal.
They are not illegal.
They are.
Cuban
Because that's
cigars
in the
are.
United States, they are illegal.
Really?
Yes, they are.
Yes, they are.
Huh. I did not know that.
Well, now you know.
Uh-oh,
now you know.
Yeah.
All right, well, how's everybody's weekend? It was Father's Day weekend. How did everybody celebrate or not or whatever?
Well,
We
we
went
went
fishing.
fishing. He caught a little bluegill, and I caught 3 catfish.
Mhm.
I seen your bluegill. That didn't look real little. It looked
was
like a
actually
good
good
size.
size.
Camera angle.
If you hold it close to the camera, it looks huge.
I did
We got
literally
we got
tell
two
him-
pictures.
So I did take 2 pictures. I took one of like what it kind of actually is, and then it's like, ooh, let's take one of where it looks bigger.
I must have seen that one.
That's
Well,
what
the
we
one
did.
she has would be like holding it regularly. It's very, very small.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's what we used to do at the bait shop when we had that. We'd tell people to hide your fingers and push it out. And that way it would look really huge.
Of course.
And it really does. It does work. And then we
No, the
went-
bluegill was pretty big. I mean, it would have been a great snack.
Yeah, we was there. We fished all morning until about noon. Then we drove over and hung out with friends, and we laid around in a blow-up pool that has like the little seats in the corner.
Yeah. We didn't get any pictures of that. We should have got some
We
pictures
did.
of
We
that.
should have got pictures of that.
Where'd y'all
but
go
we just-
fishing?
Lord Hill
Laurel.
Lake. Yeah, we went to Lord Hill Lake, and I hadn't been there since I was a teenager. My mom and my step grandmother used to run the little cafe there and bait shop when I was a
I
kid.
used to work there.
I
Back
did
in
not know that.
2011, I think. Previous owners had it, which were friends of mine, and I did. I grilled worms and sold hamburgers, so it was an experience.
Yeah. They were good. They were good.
Yeah, it was an experience. It was fun. I mean, that was a fun summer, and I met a lot of people, and a lot of people came in and bought and ate. You would not believe the people that would come in just to eat.
That's
I
what we
mean,
did.
it was crazy.
I mean, they were in that cafe to eat.
Sundays were horrible. People would come in for breakfast, and I'd have a full diner running the register, selling license, selling bait, grilling. I mean, everything myself. So it was crazy, but it was fun.
The guy that was there that runs it now was so helpful and really nice. So if you're not from this area, just go talk to him inside. He took us out and he told us like where like they had been fishing at and like where the beds were and stuff like that.
Oh,
and
nice.
So that's and he told us what bait to use and everything because he already knew. Because he'd been fishing all week long. They'd been catching all kinds of bluegill. He didn't say anything about catfish, but every time I throw out, I'd see it. My little bobber would just go down. We was fishing with little worms, so
Yeah,
it's good.
I was messing with this the bluegill I finally caught had like 6 worms before I got it.
Bluegill are hard to catch.
So, but I kept throwing in the same spot, and it kept hitting it, and got 6 of them before I got it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, there was a younger guy there, and he had this frog, a little fake frog, and I kept watching him go along the side of the bank. He caught, it was a good sized bass.
2 pounds.
At least 2 pounds. It was good size. He had to come up and borrow some pliers because his was back in the car and he needed them. He couldn't get it loose.
Yeah, that lure was in there.
Yeah.
Fun.
So, and then
It's hard to
what
get
else
those
did we?
scrabble hooks.
Oh, we put up a beam in our house, so we did do that. Of course, we've been doing nothing but working on real estate and working remodeling. That is literally all we do.
I think Sunday was our first day. We didn't do either of those.
No, people kept calling me, and so later on that night, I did call people back, and I was like,
Yeah,
"Hey,
there was a
I'm
couple
still
contracts
on."
we had to finagle a little bit.
Yeah, so I had to work a little.
What'd you do?
It was not too good, not too bad. So, yeah, had a friend pass away. And then we went and ate Father's Day supper.
Dinner.
Supper.
Dinner.
Supper.
Dinner.
Dinner. I got the mom look. Okay. She gave me the look.
Dang it.
With Marty and her hubby.
Oh, good. That'd be fun.
Well, dinner and supper, not to take away from what you're saying, Pat, but dinner and supper, there is a difference. It's all about the time. Supper's early, dinner's late. So if you're eating at 8 o'clock, you're eating dinner. If you're eating 5 to 6, that's supper.
Really?
I think I just made that up. It sounded good, though.
I think you did. But supper is you are supping, so you're eating supper.
Well, I mean, think about biblically. He had the Last Supper, not the last dinner.
There you go.
I'm going to hell.
I thought I was the only one that used that.
Thank you. I'm from the South.
There you go. It's supper.
I disagree, but
But
okay,
you're
we'll move on.
You're dining, so it's dinner.
You may be dining, but you're eating supper.
You're dining supper.
All right. Well, evidently we're going to agree
Well,
to
apparently,
disagree.
there's like multiple anyways. Or,
I wonder if there really is a definite definition of the difference.
I'm going to go with God and call it supper from now on. So.
That's just because that's what somebody says.
Well,
So
it's the truth.
mom got put by the side.
Love you.
Yeah,
She
I
did
see
scare me
how
at
you
dinner,
roll.
though, she did give me the mom look. Haven't seen that in a while.
So, Teresa, what'd you do?
What I do, as you know, I covered my porch, and a couple weeks ago I went to Ohio and went to an auction and bought a ton of stuff, cheap. And so I decorated my porch and got my screened-in patio all cleaned out, and just waiting.
Did you go shopping too?
Oh, I went up to the Franklin Flea Market thing that they had at the Williamson County Fairgrounds, and that was really good. I was surprised. Prices were a little steep, but it was a lot of vendors and a lot of food. There was food trucks, and it was fun. It was. I drove up there. The traffic wasn't that bad. It probably took me a couple hours to go through it, and so it was fun. And then I went home, and
Are your veggies getting enough sunlight under that?
yeah, they are. They seem to be doing okay.
Is
The
it
afternoon sun.
Yeah, they get that hot sun, and then they get the light. What I did was I have old ash buckets, and I have old different kinds of
Watering
buckets and watering cans, and instead of tilling up a garden this year, I plant my vegetables in all my buckets, and So then I put them out on my patio, and it looks really cute. So we're just going to see if they get enough sunlight. But that's what I did all weekend.
Your porch is really cute. They did a
Thanks.
great job.
They did. They did. I do need, if anybody's listening, I need somebody to give me some estimates on gutters. I need some gutters put up. I got 3 buildings that I need some gutters on. So anyway, if you are listening.
You get you some PVC pipe and you cut a trough down it, and then you screw it in.
You gonna redneck it?
Yeah.
Rednecking. No, I'm not going rednecking. No
It
rednecking.
worked.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah. So what else we got
Okay.
going on? What do we know?
Okay, are we going to commercial and come back and hear about the local events? And are numbers really sexy or not?
Yes. So Lonnie, take us to a commercial.
Hey y'all, this is Shelby Lee Lowe, and I'm here to tell y'all.
I heard the Chloe commercial for the first time this morning.
It was good.
I didn't hear it.
Yeah.
I heard the Laura's and I heard his, but I didn't hear Chloe's. Do you have Chloe's? Let's play it on our next one.
931-762-4247 or online at FloraMidSouthRealty.com.
All right, we are back. Just in time to hear what is going on. Holly, what is going on in our area?
So I was just in here looking at all my notes here. Steaders on Thursday nights they have karaoke. This Friday they have Sharon Mays. Is I'm saying that right? Karen Zeron. And then Saturday is David Phillips.
Yes.
We love us some David Phillips. He
Yes.
also plays on Tuesday nights at Society.
Every other Tuesday.
It's every other Tuesday night.
Now. Mm-hmm.
And on my goodness, I can't talk. English is hard. At Society. Let's see, June 24th is Dog Adoption Day at Rotary Park from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Fees are waived. All dogs are spayed, neutered before adoption is complete.
Cool.
I love that. Let's see, Keystone Resort in Loretta. They have a few things going on. July the 6th, they have Maggie and Ricky. Maggie, let's see, along with Jeff Quillen Band will be that night. Show starts at 7 p.m. And of course, you can find all their information at the stonetheater.com. Let's see, they have July 14th is Elton Live. And people who don't know, they do a lot of like tribute bands that come in. They have Rumors, which is a live Fleetwood Mac experience. I've seen Stevie Nicks live. She is phenomenal. It's one of my favorite concerts. Every Saturday from now until October is Lawrenceburg Farmers Market in downtown Lawrenceburg Square from 8 a.m. to noon.
When was that?
It is every Saturday.
Oh.
It happens every Saturday now from 8 a.m. to noon. Lawrenceburg Farmers Market. July the 8th is the second Saturday is Twister. It is a free movie thanks to Tennessee Valley weather. Bring a chair or blanket downtown Lawrenceburg Square. It
That'd be
starts at
fun.
7.
That's a great movie.
I know. I thought it was
That's
kind of
top 10 on
cool.
my list.
I know. I thought it was kind of cool. The Tennessee Valley weather is doing Twister
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
outside. I hope it's not
We
raining.
got cows.
And that is really all we kind of have going on for right now. I know more is coming up in July. I believe we're going to try to get somebody here next Tuesday to talk to us about the Loretta Sacred Hearts 4th of July picnic. They have been doing for many, many years. It's as long as I can remember. They've done that picnic. It's real popular. I know they're doing a cornhole tournament. And then I know they did have a beer garden, I think the last couple of years now. So it's pretty popular. They've got,
Oh, yeah, that cornhole tournament.
I know. I think it was $50 for a team. We already know. I know
What's a
Huntley
team, 2 or 4?
is 2. And I know Huntley and a buddy of his has already signed up. So I'm sure there's going to be some really big competition out there, but it'll be a lot of fun.
Fun, yeah.
Mhm.
I happen to be a winner in cornhole.
You are
She's an
now.
undefeated champion.
I am.
An undefeated
Undefeated.
champion in cornhole.
That's me. I am. Yes.
So that's all we have going on
Just
for right
only,
now.
yeah, it was undefeated.
Right.
We'll just leave it at that.
If you are listening or listening to the replay, if you have events, please let us know and we'll put them on. When I first moved here, that was the way back in 07 or I think 04, 07, 07. that was the hardest thing to find, was events and things happening and where to go. And I mean, it's gotten better since then, but still, for people moving into our area, we need to give them that information. We need to make it available. So if you have events, if you have things coming up and would like us to talk about them, please let us know.
Even local businesses, if you've got, I would say even like a really big sale you got going on, I think that would be good to announce, like, hey, we're having like a really big sale, come see us.
Yes.
Because we support local businesses.
Mm-hmm. Right, or if you're having an antique auction and you want to advertise that, let me have a preview beforehand. Just let us know, because that's my weakness. All right. Well, now we're up to the numbers aren't sexy, but they do tell a story. And
we'll just take a break there. You know, we'll just wait for you.
all right. And are numbers sexy? You know, are they? You know, I know one person who thinks they are, and that'd be Ryan Egley. Ryan always thinks that the numbers are sexy because that's what kind of guy he is. He loves to run the numbers and he loves to talk about numbers and compare. So to this week, I just wanted to talk about, well, for last week's numbers. And the numbers come from Real Tracks. That's a real estate website that we use and we track our business. And it just talks about, you know, our listings and solds and pendings. And I just want to let you know, for right now, we have 82 active listings. That's the most we've had in quite a while. We the week before that, we had 68. And so, you know, that's a big jump for our active listings. We have 4 coming soon, which means that those are 4 properties getting ready to go on the market. And let me back up a minute. Our active listings, we've got an average list price of $401,000. So that's a little high, but there must be some
big boys in there.
Yes, but the coming soon will blow your socks off. There's 4 coming soon with an average list price of $628,750. And last week we had, or the week before that, we had 6. So for pending, there's a pending showing, which means that the seller will allow showings and take backup offers. And there are 4 of those with an average price of $243,725. The one thing I thought was interesting last week was from the day that it was listed to the day it went under contract took 50 days. So no more of that 2 days on the market, we got multiple offers. This took an average of 50 days.
Back to the little average.
Right.
Normalcy.
Right, normal. Normal is where we are, I believe. Pending not showing, that means that the seller does not want to have any more showings or take up backup offers. There's 4 of those with an average, which I believe this is a really good, is $162,000. So that's more realistic. And then we had a list price to a list to contract, and it was 10 days for those 4. So that was pretty fast. We had no expireds. Closings, last week we had 7 closings with an average sale price of $223,400, which is, again, more normal. The week before that, we had 10 closings with an average of $226,000. And I think if you look back and you hear every week that I do Numbers Aren't Sexy reports, that the average sale price does run around $220,000. If you remember or write them down. And then the one thing that I always say, list price to sell price percentage that the sellers are getting. Sellers are getting 98.73%. So that's still a really good number for sellers. For our closed properties, from list date to contract date was 47 days. From contract date to close was additional 30 days. So you're looking at what? 77 days from list to contract to close.
3 months.
Yes, so that's really good. Then the most important number, in my opinion, is the list price versus sell price percentage. and sellers are getting, last week, 95.28%. So numbers are still great. Numbers are still going good. You can see how crazy it is, too. You know, you look at the average list prices are in the 4s and 6s, and then look at the average solds are in the 2s.
But how many of those average, when you're looking at the average list price, how many millions are there to that's shooting that number up? You know, that would be a good number to add to your list is what's causing that average to be up there.
Sure, that would be a good thing to know.
Well, because if you got a property on there that's $3-4 million, that's going to skew the numbers real.
That's where you would just take that off to me and just see what everything else is, what the average probably is for our county. I would say what our main thing, I think, what buyers look for that we deal with on a regular basis, you know, we're looking anywhere from like the low 200s all the way up to like the really low 300s. That's really where people are really at majority of the time, especially in like in the mid 200s. It's probably where we are, I feel like. Of course, well, some of our first time.
We're working on a few low 100s right now.
Yeah, we are. We got some first-time home buyers that, you know, they're by themselves, so they only have just the one income, and they're looking in the low, like, you know, they're in like the mid 100s to like the upper like the low 200s. That's kind of where I see it at more than anything. I think that's just because of local people.
Those are local, right? When you get up to the higher ones, I think those are the people that are coming into our area.
I think that is
not so much local.
Yeah, not as much local. I do agree with that.
But anyway, those are the numbers. I can do numbers for any of the counties. So if you'd like to know any other county, let us know, and we sure will report that. We'd be glad to. I got a question I want to ask all of you, even you, Lonnie. So wake up.
Okay.
All right. When is a good time to sell? If you are thinking about selling, when is it and why?
Springtime, for sure. I think that's just when everybody is because that's moving season to me.
I mean, if you're patient, you're not wanting to fly it off the market anytime, really. Anytime that you're paying attention to the numbers and then look at your interest rates, anytime would be a good time to sell. You never know who's out there looking to buy, and I don't think there's a particular time of the year that, I mean, yeah, there's more traction on springtime, absolutely. But, I mean, if you're looking to sell, anytime's a good time.
Well, I guess it would depend on your circumstance as well. I mean, sometimes you have to sell. Sometimes you're downsizing. You know, family, things change. So. But if you really research your market and everything and have a good realtor like Flora Mid-South Realty, then they can help you get the right price and find the buyers.
Speaking of right prices, you know, we do offer CMAs.
What is a CMA?
We would be more than happy to come out and talk about
music awards.
We do offer those awards, you know, but no, it's a market analyst. You're giving me the mom look again. But basically, it's just what we'll do is we'll see what's selling around your home, get a average of what's going on, and give you a good price of where you need to be. A realistic value, not nostalgic, not anything like that. A realistic market value for your property, and we do offer that if you're interested to see where you are, even if you're not particularly in the market to sell right now, just to see where your value is.
Equity.
For your equity purposes or refinance purposes and stuff like that. Be more than happy to help you out with that.
We're not appraisers, but we can do a market analysis and let you know about a price range of where you're at. What do you think about, Lonnie, about selling?
I agree with Nathan and Pat. A lot of it, anytime really, right now, but and it depends on your circumstances. But me, myself, personally, if I was going to try to sell a home, I wouldn't do it in the wintertime.
Right, because the holidays and the weather and all that. But I will say
but
that
I think that's a little niche market too, because then there's not many on the market.
That's just what I was going to get ready to
There's not many
say.
there being sold at that time, and if somebody needs a place for whatever reason, that's a
A lot of people want a new home for Christmas.
there you go.
Well, you've got to look at your
Those
competition.
bows are pretty big, aren't they?
Yes. It's hard to wrap them.
When you have a house to sell and you want to try to get the most out of that house, the best time would be when there's less competition. And that's why they say late winter before spring, because everybody lists their house in spring. Well, look, our numbers tell us that.
Mhm.
You know, we have 82 listings. So we haven't had 82 listings in a long time. Well, that's 82 potential competitions against each other for a buyer. And so when you are thinking about selling and you want to sell to get the most amount of money, you want the least amount of competition.
Mhm.
That makes
So
sense.
think about that when you're ready to list. But anyway, anytime's a good time. You know, right now's a great time to sell. Right now's a great time to buy. Prices aren't going lower. You know, we're not going to see anything really different about the mortgage industry. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. But right now, I think we need to go
Well,
on.
then let me say something.
Yes.
here. Really, you just proved the point.
What
You
did I
didn't
do?
realize it.
What that prove?
If you want to sell your property, just don't talk to any Joe, Bob, or whoever and talk to them. Go to somebody that's what they deal in. Go to a real estate agent, Flora Mid-South. Go to them. Let them tell you what you need to do and when to do it, and you're going to get a better price.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
You proved. You just proved it.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. I'm patting you on the back.
You're all right to be from up north.
I am. All right, let's go to commercial.
Hi, I'm Chloe Bell. I'm a singer-songwriter, and I love my hometown, and someone who loves my hometown just as much is the gang at Flora Mid-South Realty. If you're looking for the perfect place to call home, give them a call.
Let the gang at Flora Mid-South.
That is good. She did a good job.
931-762-4247
I hope she feels better.
Or online at floramidsoutrealty.com.
She
Strep
had
throat.
strep throat.
Oh,
All right, we are back, and we're going to talk a little bit about sellers.
Got the mom look again.
You got to watch your agenda.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Let me take you on the seller's journey. Great. As the newest member, you know, just got his license. Let me take you on the journey. But basically, what we're going to do is, if you're interested in selling, you know, actually going off what the CMA is, you know, we'll find the value. We'll meet with you, talk about what you would like to get out of your property, and then we'll bring you back to reality and tell you what you will get for your property. From there, we'll talk about, you know, the paperwork things, and we'll get it listed on our MLSs and all that, and then we'll do our marketing however we decided to, in our meeting, discuss how we wanted to market. We do videos and Facebook posts, social media everywhere, and then from there we just wait for the buyers to come in and show it, and then contract stuff. I mean, that is a very short.
Yeah, it sounds really easy because it is way complicated.
Right.
Yeah.
If
It
you
is.
go on our website, and I brought a copy of it today just to kind of talk about it. If you go to floramidsoutrealty.com and click on Seller's Journey, you're going to see something that looks like maybe a Monopoly board, and it goes through the different steps of, excuse me, a quick overview of the steps in selling your property. And if you click on one of those steps, it'll bring up a video and it'll explain to you what that step is. And I think the first part is really important. That's just your mindset. You know, what you want to do and that you really want to sell. And I don't think finding a property to buy first is the right move to make, because as you heard on the number segment, it's 50 days. Well, that house may not, before it even goes under contract. So that house that you are interested in may not even be on the market anymore. So the first thing you need to do is, once you think that you want to sell, then you need to talk to realtors, and not necessarily just one realtor. You know, you can talk to multiple.
Shop it around.
Right.
You know,
It's like a job interview.
Correct.
yeah.
Google
You're
them.
hiring us. Remember that. You are hiring us, and you know, you need to just interview people.
I think it's important to Google them too. Google is the way of the future. I mean, anything from reviews to just seeing how people interact. Social media, I think that's really important too. Really do your homework and search some of these people out to see what they do.
What they do and their marketing procedures. And, you know, today it's all about video. It's all about social media. It's all about, you know, marketing and doing that type of thing. So you need to find a realtor that is
going to do more for you than just put a sign in your yard, put it up in the MLS, and just wait.
right.
Correct.
And right. So it says the next step is to hire the right realtor. So you want to make sure that you are having conversations before you hire. They say that 92% of everyone hires the first realtor they talk to. Then the next thing is, the most complaint that they get is that that realtor never talks to them, never follows up with them, never gives them feedback. So, you know, you may not want to hire that first one you talk to. You know, you may, but you may not. And it's really important that you understand, how are they going to talk to you? How are they going to let you know what they are doing to sell your property?
Yeah, we're in the know. We're in the know about how to sell your house. We're in the know how to help you buy the house. But I forgot where I was going with that.
I don't know. And I think it's important too, as far as like you said, people lose communication.
Yeah, that's what I was going with, communication.
People lose communication with their agents. I try to talk to my sellers quite frequently. I am texting them and calling them. I'm on the phone with them a lot. I become a lot of times really close friends with a lot of my past clients, whether they be buyers or sellers. One of my past sellers and buyers actually came by my house yesterday to see our renovation. So I think they become more, I think that's where the importance lies at with anybody that's in the real estate world. You want that person who's got your back, who will go to war for you.
And they have a heart. You know, I think the biggest thing too is not only their skills in marketing, but they have to have a heart in the game. You know, they have to have.
It's more than just a number. It's more than just.
You're right. And you know, and at Flora, you know, we all work together. We all help each other, and we all pitch in when needed. And so you're not only just hiring one, but you're hiring the whole office. And I think that's
I've spent
really
many hours on the phone with you or Pat, just, you know, or even some of the other agents of like, you know, trying to come up with ideas for some of our buyers or some of our sellers. Hey, will this work? Can this work? And anything we can do to help the process go smoother, to make anybody feel, you know, especially because I've had some that are like, they've been burned by other agents, and they're like, they're a little bit gun shy.
Yeah, I was working with this gentleman for a little while who was just refused to sign any type of contract with the realtor because they were burned.
And that's that happens a lot. One bad egg ruins the whole dozen. And you know, and that's not fair to us, but that's the way it's always been. Right. And we just have to always prove ourselves. But the other thing I think is really important is pictures. Today, people buy a lot of property just by video and pictures. They don't even come and look at the property. You know, so Sandra's got one right now.
A lot of virtual walkthroughs.
I have sold
tours,
many houses now virtually, and they haven't even seen the house until after they've bought it. I have done it multiple times now. Right,
and Sandra's got that going right now too. She's on one of her listings. She's got 4 offers on one listing, and none of them have seen the property. You know, so that's crazy to me, but it happens. So pictures are very, very important, and virtual tours and anything that you could do on a positive note for that property. You don't want to hide anything, you want to be honest, but you want to make sure that people see the good parts of that property. Take angles that the street and where it's at and the neighborhood and that kind of stuff.
Well,
So
that's important about the virtual. If you do a virtual walkthrough, you want to have somebody that is going to point out the stuff that's
Yes.
not, that you can't particularly see on the video, but a soft floor, sticky cabinets,
I look underneath
the
sinks.
smell, yeah, absolutely.
I look under sinks when I'm doing virtual. So if you are a potential seller, make sure you don't have any water leaks under your sinks, because people look for that. Because I'm not a home inspector, but home inspectors will also look for that. The one that I went to do a virtual tour on, they actually this seller hired a home inspector to come in beforehand, and they did all of the work on that list. So they already have all of that done. I think that is something that is really important and nice to be able to say. You can show a buyer, hey, I've already had a home inspection done here, and I'll be happy to share it with you.
Yeah, and this is what they did, this is what they found, and this is how we repaired. I mean, that's a great way to sell your home.
I think that is.
It's going to happen regardless, so why not find out before?
correct.
Why not find out and fix the problem? So, and then when the buyer comes in, yeah, please get an inspector or two. Still get your own inspection.
If you choose to.
If you choose to, but then it makes, I think a lot of people, because home inspections aren't the cheapest. They're already having to pay for their appraisal. They're already having to pay for this and that and whatnot. So I think, I really do think if a seller really wants to be an attractive seller, I think a home inspection report is a great way to hand it off to somebody.
Definitely share it.
And then those inspectors understand what's going on, and most inspectors will go over that report with the potential buyer. So that'll save that buyer some money.
Absolutely.
So
Well, and the headache, for the seller. Like something major happens and you're in contract with somebody, and then they have a home inspection and something major happens. Now you could have had it taken care of, or it could kill the deal.
right.
Home warranties, I think, are going to make a comeback before long. I do. I think those are important.
We just had a guy call us from America's Preferred.
Yes.
And was talking about the changes and stuff, and he's coming down, I think, to talk to us as a team about the different aspects of the home warranty now and the cost and what's included, and so I'm excited to hear about that. So yes, I think home warranties are going to make a comeback. And what a home warranty is, not insurance. It's not like your homeowner's insurance, but it's something that either the seller, the buyer, or the agent can purchase for that property, and it lasts for a year. And it just depends on what package you buy, but it addresses issues like blockages, stoppages, water heaters, air conditions, furnaces, lights, dishwashers, refrigerators, a lot of different aspects. Of course, there is an age criteria, I believe, and so we have to look at it that way. But I can get $600 for a whole year.
That's for the mid package.
That is a great selling feature, and that's great for a first-time home buyer that doesn't have a lot of money. They get that insurance. They get that guarantee that they're going to have help if anything goes bad.
I think that's a really good thing that sellers can offer, or agents can offer to their to buyers, for sure.
And then we go from marketing, the pictures, to marketing. We boost on social media. We launch it all on social media. And then, reviews are really important too. We ask our clients to do reviews. How is this process going for you? Tell us, what do we need to do different? What can we be doing? How are we doing so far? So we're going to ask and talk to you about reviews. Then there's something that's I don't know what to say about it. It's open houses. It's either you're for them or against them. And open houses.
This area seems to be not for them.
I know.
Up north, that was constant.
I know.
There were signs all over the place, and every listing had an open house at least once.
And they sold it during the open house.
A lot of them sold it during the open house.
My mom, who was in real estate, she would always have open houses, and talk about how she got 2 or 3 contracts, or at least a contract during the open house. And here, we just don't. We're lucky if we get any visitors.
Yeah.
I mean, I went to one open house, and that was a realtor open house, and it was the first one I've been to since I've been in this area, because I just don't see them that often.
I hosted an open house back just before Halloween because I did a whole Halloween
remember
thing.
that, yeah.
I had one potential buyer to come through. That's
I know.
it.
And I feel, personally, if I have to bring reasons for you to be there, then you're not really a buyer. If I have to bring food trucks, or I have to bring clowns, or if I have to bring a band, or I have to bring those things.
Used to say the looky-loos.
Yes. Then that's what you're doing. You're feeding the looky-loos, or the nosy neighbors, or whatever. If you're a buyer, I feel like you're going to go to that open house because you're a buyer.
Yeah, because you're looking at the house, not for the food
Not
or the entertainment.
Right. So,
In the fair circuit, we call that walkers and gawkers.
Yeah, there you go.
that's good. Walkers and gawkers. I like
Makes
that.
sense. I think the virtual open house is a good idea, though.
Yes. Now I do
like
that. And I understand one of our photographers has a little drone now that he can fly it through the
Oh,
house.
He's
He
working
just
on
got that in last Thursday, I believe,
We
and then
need
he
to find
got
him another
sick.
house. We need to find him another house because we took that one off the market. So
I don't know.
we need to
Yeah.
find him another one to practice on.
Yeah, one of our houses that we had listed, she was from California, and at first she was really, really homesick, and then she called me up the other day, and she goes, Miss Holly, she's like, I'm so sorry. She's like, but I think I'm going to stay. And I said, I think that is the best decision you could make. So, we're not all, this is not, I mean, yes,
Yeah, it'd
this
be
is
great
our
to have a
paycheck,
listing, but
this is not what we're about. This is about family
people.
and people, yeah.
And the right decisions for
Correct.
them.
Yep.
All right, so once we get all of that marketing and do all of that, what happens after that? Then we start getting offers in. And that's when we really kick in with our skills and our knowledge and negotiations and advising you as the seller what you need to do. And then we just go through the contract during that time. That's when buyers do inspections. And we talked about that, maybe do it ahead of time. And then get ready to move, because you can't wait to the last minute. You can't wait a lot of times the day of closing, because
I got a couple that, God bless them, they're closing 9 a.m. that day on their house they're selling, closing 2 p.m. at their house that they're buying, and moving that day as well.
They already have a U-Haul lined up.
Luckily, we did be able to get them in a day early to move some stuff, which is good. We worked with the buyer on that, and but yeah, they're going to have a busy day Thursday.
they are. It'd be a good time to provide lunch or something.
Yeah.
But anyway, then we go from contract to getting you ready to move to then we go to closing day. And the closing day basically is when everything comes together, and it's a time to celebrate. It's a time to mourn, because it could be you're selling, grandmother's house, and it's kind of a sad time for you, but it's still time to rejoice and move on. And most times you get the keys the day of closing, unless your realtor has negotiated something different, and you sign all your documents, and then it's yours, and congratulations, you're a homeowner. Then it's time to celebrate and party, and then we come back and we'll visit you and see how things are going.
Oh, yeah. You was talking about that a while ago. You said unless we negotiate something different, people don't realize that we can negotiate the temporary occupancy, whether you need to move in beforehand, so maybe the house is vacant, but yet you're not quite ready to be able, sometimes we can talk to them about renting the house for just a little short period of time, to even if you were the seller and you need a couple of weeks because you need that money, to close, but you've got to move, but you're going to a whole nother state. That's what I have a situation going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
And they are staying 2 more weeks past the time we close because they are moving out of state, but they needed the money, they needed to be able to get everything packed up and lined up to move. And my people that are buying it are from Florida, and they said, sure, that's fine, because it works for us too. We're doing the exact same thing. So there's always options.
Absolutely, and there is a lot of standardized things that happen in the real estate game. And there's what's normal, and I say that with air quotes, what's normal procedure. But most everything can be negotiated at some point in the process. And you just have to have a realtor that knows how and is willing to do that.
Did you hear what he said?
Yeah.
What did he say?
What did he say?
He said realtor.
Realtor.
Realtor. Andy
I'm
Realty.
rubbing off on him,
That's,
sorry.
That is one of my things. I'm sorry. That's an inside thing of ours. We are realtors.
We're realtors.
Sorry.
But selling your property, you know, and I've got a little bit of statistics on here. 92, of course I do. 92% of all sellers pay towards buyers' closing fees. That's something that we've not talked about. And I think that has become air quote normal, you know, for sellers to contribute towards buyers' closing costs. And I think that in order for you to get your property sold, your realtor, your listing agent needs to be educating you on that. You need to price your property accordingly because, you know, it could be $3,000 or $4,000 that they're asking. A lot of times it's 3% of the sale price. And that goes towards the buyer's closing fees in order for the buyer to buy their property. So if you want to sell your property, then most likely you're going to have to contribute to buyer's closing costs. And you
That just become an industry standard, though, which could be changing. I mean, that could be changing.
Like you said, it could be negotiable, but I think
Right.
it's a have to. You know,
Okay.
buyers today there's not cash. You know, like you talked about earlier, they have to pay for their appraisal up front, their home inspection up front, their termite up front, any
And
other,
just
A
general
down
moving-
payment.
A down payment.
And general moving expenses. It's
Right.
not cheap to move.
correct. So especially if you're not local.
And I know that seems overwhelming. We're us talking about that, so don't let us scare you. That seems very overwhelming with all of the numbers we're throwing at you. But really, it's not as bad as you really think.
And that's why there's that contract time. You know, that 30 to 45 days to get all this stuff done. People ask me occasionally, well, why does it take so long to sell a home? Well, A, it's a big investment, a lot of monies, but B, there's a lot of things to do in between to make sure all your T's are dotted and your I's are crossed. You know, so.
I think you might have said that a little bit
I
better.
did that on purpose. I had to think about that before I said it. I wanted to say it backwards.
They say that the other thing that is a something to consider if you are a seller or a buyer, 1 out of 3 closings happen on time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
We've been getting a few early ones. You know, I'm like this. We had this one that was scheduled for July 7th, and now it's this week. So.
oh,
And the reason why is because I try to always cushion for, instead of having to extend out a contract, I always plan for 45 days to close. But majority of the time, I'd say we can close in about 30 days.
A lot of that depends on your circumstances.
Correct.
too.
Yeah, if it's a cash offer or loan.
Yeah, and it could be, you know, like you're selling your parents' house and you have to get the approval from TenCare and all of that.
That's true.
So,
Definitely circumstance based for sure.
and divorce affects it a lot too.
yes,
Absolutely.
that is always a treat to have to work with those.
I don't know anything about that.
I have yet to actually work with any other than having to divorce myself. I haven't had to have work with anybody yet with selling their house.
Well,
yet was
what is
divorced.
really hard is whenever you're selling a house for a divorced couple and they're not allowed to talk to each other.
Oh, I did have a buyer on the other end of that. I did, because luckily I was so glad that she was the selling agent on that one, because she'd go between the attorneys. I was like, that's
Crazy.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Crazy.
got one of them.
Yeah.
Those are difficult, I assume.
Very.
Back to the closing on time, you know, you have to, the other thing is you have to have an agent that stays on top of dates and stays on top of what needs to be happening when. The other is your lender. You know, if your lender works somewhere that's a 9-to-5 job and doesn't work weekends, you know, they're tough to work with and make things happen.
Right.
You know, you have to work with a lender that is like us,
Available.
is available. Thank you. And it's important to work as a team. Like, we have lenders that we work with on a regular basis because we know how they work.
Not only that, it's communication too. We talk to them. We form like a little group of our team, obviously,
Right.
around buying your house and selling your house.
I usually have one lender, and everybody knows that probably, but I have one lender that I work with consistently, and I probably get an update from her daily, whether it be
Numerous
text
times.
or call. I do. I get an update, and sometimes I'll call and update her. She goes above and beyond for a lot of clients, especially of mine. And that's the reason why she works like I do, and so that's why I like her. I want somebody who's going to work the way I do. It's not just a number.
Mm-hmm.
Then, I'm not dogging some of these big companies that you can call in and talk to them. It's nothing personal against them. I personally just like somebody who I could go to their office, physically see them. She has actually drove to our office and sat down for a meeting. I like that versus just being a number.
She is very dedicated, and she has a heart. It's all about the heart, If your heart ain't in it, it shows.
It does.
And it's very difficult to work with the people in the industry that don't, because it's obvious.
Well, you have some agents out there too that will not communicate with their buyer's agent or the selling agent or whatever. They just refuse to talk to them.
And that, it's all about doing what's right for the client, whether it's your client or somebody else's client. You just, it's just about doing what's right, and the other thing I thought was interesting, which I just noticed, I need to update this, only 8% of homes sold in 2020 was a for sale by owner. 8%. And I think that's interesting. They
Is that
try.
county or nationwide?
That is county.
County. Okay.
And I think that's interesting because, people want to sell for sale by owner, but yet they'll pay a commission, a 3% commission. Now let's analyze that for a minute. We've got a few minutes. If they are willing to pay, if a for sale by owner is willing to pay a buyer's agent 3%, then they're only saving 3%, which is a lot of times not that much money.
And their marketing is usually not as
Exactly.
as strong.
And the liability and the paperwork and the know-how and all that.
And letting anybody and everybody in their house to show their property, which, you got to think about safety reasons. And, if you're a for sale by owner, by all means, we'll be able to help you do that. But
I even think like
8%
the closing
sold.
costs. If your buyers are needing closing costs, do you really know how to negotiate that with somebody?
Correct.
You really need somebody to lean on for that one.
Right. So it's really important, I believe, to have an expert in the game because there's so much legality to buying and selling real estate that I sure wouldn't want to do it alone.
I literally have somebody that he thought, and it's not my client, but he really thinks that he's like, oh, we'll deal with the deed stuff later. We'll just deal with the money and then we'll deal with the deed stuff. That ain't no big deal. And I'm thinking, oh, that's a really big deal. That could be a lawsuit, and just waiting to happen. And I'm like, oh.
Or the other thing is, this is totally off, but a title search. People will buy property, land, a lot of times, without doing a title search. They'll tell their title company, they want to waive that fee. They don't want a title search.
Oh, I think it's a bad
And
idea.
so when they all of a sudden then want to sell, what happens?
Right. The title search gets done, and now
We've
a
got
huge
problems.
The reason why I know about that one probably the best is I had a property that I was selling for somebody, and they had done a title search. Well, they missed it with my sellers the first time. Well, the people who was buying it, they did another title search later on, and a $75,000 lien popped up that they had missed the first time around. Luckily, the sellers had bought title insurance to begin with, and so that fee that went away.
So how's that work? You have to.
So go ahead.
But how does that work again? Because
You're responsible for that lien.
okay, so the title company, you buy the title insurance because so what's that insurance insure? So
Your title,
correct.
your
But
ownership.
what I'm saying,
Basic,
okay, you found that $75,000 problem. So now is the title company who did the,
The
title search
company,
responsible?
insurance,
Yes.
the insurance, what your
See,
insurance
that's
is for, it
really
covers it.
important. That's really
Okey-doke.
important.
So, next week we're excited to announce the Flora Rockstars will be rocking the real estate news and all things local. Watch us on Facebook and YouTube and listen to us here on WDXE Talk Radio.
I think Pat's telling us it's time to get because we could talk about this forever. All right, you all. Thank you. We had a great show, and stay tuned for us next week. Lonnie, take us out.
Former President Donald Trump's trial on charges of
Oh, we
violating
went right to
the
the news.
Espionage Act, among other things, relating to documents taken during
gotta
the
find
raid at
our,
Mar-a-Lago,
show,
is now scheduled to
our
begin
closing.
August 14th at the
We need an
federal
outro.
court in Fort Pierce, Florida.
Now we need an intro
Bye.
and an outro.
Could be
We-
delayed.
well,
Former
it's supposed to
President
be
played
the,
an update last night in his first interview
This
since
our
he
song.
called it a
We have a
weekend
song?
and
We
said
have an intro and an outro. It's the we have part of Who Says You Can't Go Home.
I don't think we played it.
So
We
when
have
the
that.
president to take things out, and in my case, they took it out pretty much in a hurry, but people
It is good. That's what-
we left.
But among the
I'm
charges against the
comfortable.
former president,
Hey, everybody.
Because you're old.